All right, I'll get there. I think no, it's just the same thing. There's obviously you come back, feel good, and there's always little things that you're gonna feel throughout. But I think a couple of weeks just being away from the ice, not being in a boot, I think will kind of clear all that stuff up.
Paul, how do you reflect now after 2 days of just sitting back and looking at the whole picture?
Yeah, I think it's still a tough pill to swallow. Just looking at, I mean, the whole playoffs basically is just every game is a coin flip, you know. So I mean, you know, one day you get a little lucky, win the game, one game you don't, and it's just that tough. And I think, you know, when you're out of it, the next day you wake up and you're almost kind of lost for a second because you have that same routine all the time. So, you know, hopefully we can use that motivation. I think kind of go in the summer and know next year have a fresh start with, you know, fresh coaching staff and kind of use that motivation from losing this year to next year. But like I said, every year I think every summer you gotta go in here and plan on getting better, just because, you know, next year is gonna be a lot more teams battling, and it's, you know, this cap kind of era just gets tougher and tougher, and it's a lot more balanced throughout the league.
With what you lost and what you were able to accomplish, I mean, can you be proud of what you guys were able to do?
Yeah, absolutely. I think no, that's just part of the nature of the business sometimes, and it kind of happens that, like I said, but you know, there's always turnover throughout a team, whether it's big players or small players, and it's always going to affect the guys, and that's just how it is. And you know, the more you win, obviously there's less turnover, but even if you know, the more you win, then everyone's having better years, so it just tends to happen. But like I said, it was kind of up and down year, and I thought we did a good job kind of coming together right before we had that. Obviously, when Yossi came in and helped out, and then I think right before we had that long stretch where we're on the road for about, you know, played 7 and 10 days. I think that's where we really came together as a team.
If you could explain from your perspective what happened to the power play in the postseason, is there an explanation?
I think it was stagnant. I think we're just, you know, there's a couple of things that, you know, we could work on that might change in the summer, watch other teams do. But, you know, I think there's nights where we kind of took it for granted and just weren't quick enough. I think a lot of times we just hold on to it for an extra second before we move the puck, and then we were kind of too predictable on where the puck was going to go and what the next play was going to be.
Paul, how will you remember this? How should we remember this team? What's the legacy that you'll take from this season?
I don't think I ever take a legacy from any year. I think, you know, you have a good group of guys here, and you have a lot of guys that are going to be back next year that want to play for each other, that want to win for each other, and I think that's kind of the culture we've built around here, and that's the culture we want to keep moving forward.
Hey, Paul, you know, this season could have ended with Ken Hitchcock still in charge, maybe you lose in the first round. The fact that Mike's got his feet wet, you know all about him, you went to the second round, how much has that sped up the changeover and getting going with Mike?
Yeah, I think that's good. I think you have a feeling of what to expect next year. I think the systems won't be a big difference, and I think we know his systems, or we know what he's going to put in play. It will work for us, and I think right when he came in, we changed a few things, and right away we became better defensively, started giving up less, and started playing more as a unit of 5 instead of as individuals. And we know that we can do that to be successful, and we just got to build on that.
And another thing, people probably didn't think they'd get a look at Barbashev, or they didn't know who Sanford was, but maybe Schmal, some of those guys until next year, but now you got to look at them. Is that reassuring, knowing that they can contribute?
Oh, absolutely, and I think all those guys, like I said, well, you know, they're so young that every summer I think they grow in their bodies, they get more and more comfortable, and for them just to get 10, 15, 20 games, some playoff games, I think they know how much harder it is and how much more work they have to put in, but I think it's promising for those guys for the future for sure.
Last year you had a lot of veteran guys that you just didn't know what their status was going to be. There's that unknown feeling. This roster looks like it's going to be pretty well intact. Is that a good feeling, knowing, you know, what to expect and what you're going to have coming back for the most part?
Yeah, but I think you know, when you have a good team like that, yeah, I mean, you obviously always want to keep the roster, especially when you know you have a good group of guys and that play for each other, play well together. But like I said, I think with the expansion draft and the summer, there's always going to be a turn no matter what. So we got to just be ready to lose some guys, and whether it's young guys, older guys, I think, you know, you'll find guys within the system that they'll pull up, they'll fit right in, or you'll get new guys. And I think with this culture, this team does a good job embracing whoever comes in and makes them feel at home right away.
What's your thoughts on Jake Allen and the turnaround that he had and how hot he got?
Yeah, I mean, he was hot for sure, but I think he's playing it. That's how good a goalie he is. I think we expect that out of him, and not the games where we expect to give up 50 shots. He makes those saves. That's unbelievable. But I think he had that stretch early in the season where, he was just in a funk a little bit, and it's a mental game, and then when you're getting pulled after every goal, how are you supposed to get better? How are you supposed to battle through it? So sometimes that's kind of tough, but I think he's old enough. I think he's experienced enough where everyone goes through those growing pains a little bit, and we knew throughout the year, that he was going to bounce back for us. And then I think both him and Hutz, I think, were unbelievable for us last 2 months of the season, basically. They stole some games, but other than that, then they made the big saves that we counted on them to make. And I think from there, our confidence went up even more.
How much did you miss Robby, and is it kind of nice to think about getting him back next year?
Yeah, I mean, you don't think about it during the playoffs, and then I think after you look back, you kind of look at that. But obviously, he's a pure scorer. He's scoring threat, and I think we're limited on goals, and helps out the power play. And I think he's excited to get back. I think it's going to be a slow work in progress, but he's got a long time to get ready, and I think he's as motivated as anyone.